Good morning, students. We are greeting you on this lovely morning to talk money. Ms. Haggerty, will you kick us off at 10?
I absolutely will. So let's go ahead and shift over because we have a lot to talk about today. First of all, just a quick preview to coming senior advisory and College Depot attractions. Today's the 17th. We're going to talk about the CSS Profile, which all of you who are applying to out-of-state colleges and universities will probably need to complete. That's a financial aid form. We'll also talk about some of the writing sections on the Common App, and we'll kind of let you know about some upcoming opportunities this Saturday and a week from yesterday, next Monday, which is an I-Day, and we'll talk about those in just a second. This Thursday, Grand Canyon University will do a presentation during the senior advisory. But if you're a student who is interested in out-of-state, you could attend Columbia University's in-person presentation if you are at bio. Sorry for those of you who will be watching this either at a later time or will be watching from another campus. So, and then Saturday is In-State Honors College Day at College Depot. It's from 2:30 to 5 p.m. I hear there'll be some snacks, to get us through the experience, but it's mostly a workshop. There'll be a presentation right at 2:30 by ASU Barrett, the Honors College, and then that'll be followed by a workshop just to work on that application. And then we'll also cover NAU's Honors College and their application as well. Those of you who want to work on the UofA W.A. Franke Honors College can do that too. And then Monday, which is an I-Day, from 11 a.m. to 2, if you come down to College Depot, we're going to actually take you through workshops on getting your FSA ID, your Federal Student Aid ID, and your CSS Profile presentation. If you are a student who is thinking only of in-state, you can still come to this and work on scholarships and your FSA ID to get ready for your FAFSA. And if you're a student who is a dreamer and you're applying to in-state schools, definitely you need to do your CSS profile. So we want you to attend as well. On the 24th, a week from today, we're going to talk about the ED signature page. And if you miss Monday's presentation, we'll also do a bit of a profile walkthrough and talk about the supplemental questions. On the 26th, if you haven't yet done your FSA ID, we're going to preview that. And we'll talk about a whole bunch of things coming up. But let's go to the next screen. So Claremont McKenna College, which is one of the 7 Claremont colleges near LA, has a brand new science center that they've created, and should be really amazing. They've long been known for politics, government, business, but they're also upping their game in the sciences around health, brain, planet, and they're really looking at some of the grand challenges that kind of go with that, like energy, climate, environment, genomics, systems biology and health, learning and decision making. There's a lot that they're doing. Next screen, please. And you might say, why are you talking about that right now? Because if you're interested in listening to a presentation by Claremont McKenna, you can go to the virtual presentation right now, and you can always come back to the recording I'm doing right now you can always come back to that later. Just go on your class of 2024 Teams, and you'll see that we've downloaded it on there. In fact, the PowerPoint is already there. The link is on the screen, but it's also being put in the chat right now. Claremont McKenna is a top-rated liberal arts institution. If you have any interest in economics, business, government, you definitely want to check them out. Do it right now. You will not hurt my feelings, and you can do that on your individual laptop, and you can always come back to this recording later on. All right, next screen. So this Thursday during Senior Advisory, you can join us for a virtual presentation by Grand Canyon. That'll be our regular in-state Senior Advisory. Or if you are a student at Bio, you can opt to attend an in-person presentation by Columbia University in the city of New York. That's one of the Ivy League schools. So those are your options this Thursday. Next screen. And just a reminder, there's also something called the Hispanic Scholarship Fund College Camp. It'll be taking place at the University of Arizona this Saturday, October 21st. It goes from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. It'll be about applying to college, financial aid, scholarship opportunities, transitioning to a career after college. So they also have some sessions that are about careers. You'll be able to get a light breakfast and lunch. It'll be provided there at the Student Union Memorial Center. And to register, we've got that, I think, in the chat as well. Next screen. So this Saturday, we have In-State Honors Day at College Depot on the second floor. It starts at 2:30. There'll be Aska James from Barrett, the Honors College, will begin right at 2:30. There'll be a presentation about Barrett, followed by just a workshop going through the application. Snacks will be there too. Who knows? Maybe some other things will happen. Next screen. And then on Monday, we're doing Show Me the Money. It's on I-Day from 11 to 2. Lunch is provided, and we'll cover your FSA ID, your CSS profile. We'll do a walkthrough. If you want to bring a parent, we will feed them as well. Hopefully, you'll either be getting this number down. You could just call College Depot to sign up for either event, or if they have the QR codes, they are supplying them right now in the chat if they've got them. Ms. Judy, do you have them?
We just entered Show Me the Money, and we are about to enter the honors one, so stay tuned.
All right. Okay, that's excellent. Next one. All right, just a quick reminder too, November 1st is looming. It's getting ever closer by the day. ASU's Barrett Honors College priority deadline is November 1st. NAU Honors College deadline is 11/15. UofA Frankie Honors College, they only have one deadline this year, and it's the beginning of February. But if you're considering an out-of-state college and you're looking at early decision 1, that deadline will probably be November 1st. And if you're thinking about schools that might be offering early action, their deadlines can be either November 1st or the 15th. And then there's scholarships that are also due on the 1st. So November is a pretty big month. Hopefully you've used some of your fall break just to work on your applications to these things. But if you haven't yet, you've got time, but you got to get on it. You don't have time to waste. Next screen. And if you are considering applying to either a University of California school or a Cal State University, those apps have to be turned in before November 30th. So don't forget, if any of these schools like UCLA or UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, or schools like San Diego State are on your list, there is one firm deadline, and that's coming up. All right, next screen. So let's talk about the Common App for just a second, because by now we're hoping that you have a balanced list of some in-state schools, some out-of-state schools, some public, in-states probably, some private. We hope you have a balance of not just reach schools, but also some target schools where your GPA or your test score already hit those, or they match what schools have as their averages. We hope that as you're building your list, you don't have every school being a dream school or a highly selective school. And are the schools a good fit, not just academically, but also socially and financially? So especially if you're thinking about applying early decision, do a net price calculator to check your cost. So to find that, you can either go on myintuition.org, or you can just Google name of the school followed by net price calculator or NPC, and it will pop up. And then, have you chosen all of your deadlines? Are you, for each school, have you put down, are you going to do an early decision deadline, in which case you can only do one school early decision? And if you have you done a net price calculator? If you are doing an early decision or an early action program, are you ready for it? Have you already had your recommenders working on their recommendations? And you'll need some signatures from your counselor if it's early decision, and from your parent. Next screen. We're going to talk for a few minutes about CommonApp Writing. That's a whole section. So by now you should have completed the section on the profile, education, family, testing. We talked last time about activities, and we also went back and talked about what you might put under the honors section. Now it's time to really focus in on the writing. That's usually the hardest part for everybody. So on the Common App, there's a personal essay that has a word count of up to 650 words. There'll be a yes or no question asking you if you want to write a little bit about, how COVID impacted you. And if you say yes to that, it'll offer you a box that allows you up to 250 words. And then there is an additional information section. You don't have to write that like a second personal essay. It's simply for you to put in more information that can help you clarify or can give them more information about something that isn't anywhere else in your application. If you had some hardship that isn't explained somewhere else, you could put it in the additional information section. If you change schools and you want to explain, you can put that in there too. And then in addition to those that Common App section on writing, you might also find that each school has some supplemental questions. Not every school has them, but the top one is definitely, why us? Why do you want to come to our school? And in that, they not only check your writing style, what level your writing is. Are you writing at college level? but they also find out how well you've done your research, how well you can imagine yourself on their campus. Next screen. Make sure you select a term or admission plan for each school. So if this is my dashboard and I've got ASU, actually I wouldn't have ASU, but if I have Babson, Carleton, Franklin down there, I would make sure that I have chosen the deadline. On here, it shows a little bomb about to go off because that deadline is getting pretty close. Actually, I think that's a stopwatch. November 1st, 12 days until the deadline, it will count down for you. Carleton's regular decision happens to be January 15th. So you can see that they're not close to the countdown yet. And it also says whether or not you're in the middle of a writing supplement. And if you are, it'll acknowledge that. Next screen. And then here's the writing section that I was talking about. So it says some colleges require submission of the personal essay with your Common App. Almost all of them do. Every once in a while, a school won't. Notice if this is your dashboard and you haven't yet applied to ASU or the UofA, at this point now you can use the Common App to apply to them, but neither of those schools require a writing section. You need to say you understand, and then that allows you to know that allows you to go on to the personal essay, and you've got 650 words. Next one. So here are the 7 essay prompts. You definitely want to check them out really carefully. The essay demonstrates your ability to write clearly and concisely on a particular topic, helps distinguish yourself in your own voice. There isn't a favorite for them. There are some, there's kind of a lot of students who talk about who respond to that first question about background, identity, interest, or talent. That's one of their most popular ones. But if you're an admissions officer, you don't have a favorite. You just read whichever response the student has selected. And you want to make sure, if you're the student, that you've answered all of it. So look at the second question. The lesson we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. Now, you're going to do that. But you also have to answer how it affected you and what you learned from the experience. So you can't just do a personal narrative on a challenge, a setback, or a failure. You have to bring it into the present. Next one. Reflect on something that someone has done for you that has made you happy or thankful. We call this the gratitude question. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others. Describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Most of you probably could think of something. And then, why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? Share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. So you have to tell them which question you're answering, and then you have to write an essay between 250 and 650 words. Okay. The most popular ones are the last one, the accomplishment one, and on the previous page, go ahead and turn back there for a second. The one that I have highlighted about obstacles. Next screen, and the screen after that. So to build a great essay, you definitely want to make it personal so that you're the only one who can be writing your answer. You're going to tell your story. We recommend that you use a personal narrative style that engages your reader. It hooks them from the very start, and it allows them to kind of see it through your imagery, your descriptions, your your vocabulary. Seize the opportunity to take control of your essay, because there are many parts that you no longer have control over. Your transcript is going to tell its own story. But through the essay, you want to make sure that it's something significant to you, and then you want to connect it to right now. Next screen. In addition to that, there's that additional information section right under the personal essays section. And it says community disruptions such as COVID can have deep and long-lasting impacts. If you need it, this space is yours to describe those impacts. Colleges care about the effects on your health and well-being, safety, family circumstances, future plans and education, including access to reliable technology and quiet study spaces. That may not be what you experience. So you have 250 words. Use the space to describe how these impacts or how these events impacted you if you say yes. Okay. We suggest that you write something there. Next screen. Also a reminder that some of you may have received some kind of text message from something called Benji. It's AskBenji.org. It's a digital assistant which reminds you about the FAFSA that will be opening up sometime in December. And it is pushed by the state of Arizona. Next screen. If you want it to wake up, you just text "Hi Benji" to that number. You'll get a response, likely from a different number. That's Benji. Save the phone number in your contacts so you'll know who it is. Benji will ask a few questions about yourself, including your name and your school. Text Benji your questions about the FAFSA. Benji will respond quickly with answers. You can keep asking questions until you've got all the information you need to submit the FAFSA. Just remember, the FAFSA will not open until December, but it is live now. So you'll be able to see some information to help you prepare for it, like about the FSA ID. Next screen. And then there are some specific text messages that will go out to all Arizona students at the very beginning, but then it will kind of follow your progress. And it's available 24/7. So if you and your parent are working on your FAFSA late at night and you have a question, you can always ask Benji. Next screen. Now, we're getting close to the point of the year where you have to figure out which financial aid forms you should fill out. As I said, the FAFSA opens in December. It's accepted by all colleges, universities, and trade schools. Then there's also the CSS Profile. That's open already, and that's required by about 400 schools. Most of them are out-of-state private colleges. Also note, if you are a dreamer, whether you're considering in or out-of-state schools, you'll have to fill this out too. Even for UofA or for ASU, the CSS Profile for dreamers only. That's how ASU and UofA will figure out your financial aid. Okay. Next screen. So what is the CSS profile? It's one application. It's a financial aid application that allows you to access, up to $10 billion in institutional and non-federal financial aid. Remember, when we talk about the FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So if you're applying to an out-of-state school, you'll probably do both your FAFSA and the CSS profile, because if you're applying to a school that costs $85,000 a year, you'd probably rather be awarded $68,000 rather than just $6,800. So there's a definite cap or a limit that you can get from the FAFSA in terms of grants and work study. But in terms of the CSS profile, they can really help you access a much higher amount. The FAFSA is only used to award federal student aid, like Pell Grants, but the CSS profile is used to award institutional aid from a school. Both types of aid may be needed to afford a college, so be sure to apply for both if your college is one of the schools that requires the CSS profile. Next screen. So which financial aid form should you fill out? Well, before you start, check out these helpful tips and resources before starting your application. You'll need your most recently completed tax returns, W-2 forms, and other records of current year income, records of untaxed income and benefits, assets, and bank statements. If you have a College Board account, you're going to sign in using the same credentials, because the CSS profile is on the College Board website. This will help save you time and help us apply fee waivers you receive to your CSS profile application. Note, only non-custodial parents will create a separate parent account. You'll learn more about creating a parent account on our Profile for Parents page. That's on the CSS profile website. You don't need to complete the entire application at one time on the CSS profile. You can save it and return to it to complete it later when you have more information. Make sure your application will be considered on time. That means submit your CSS profile by midnight Eastern time for your earliest required filing date. So if you are applying for early decision and you have a November 1st deadline, you should complete your CSS profile by October 31st, okay, 9 p.m. Next screen. If you're applying out of state, many schools require you to submit that profile. It's a financial aid application that will help you determine your family's financial need for institutional aid from the school. It's used by about 400 colleges, universities, and also scholarship programs. A supplemental aid application to the FAFSA. In other words, you don't use it in place of the FAFSA unless you are undocumented, and supports international students who are applying for institutional aid at some U.S. colleges. Next screen. So if you are going to get on the CSS profile, all you have to do is type in the word CSS profile. It'll take you right to this page. You'll note that this is within the College Board account or the College Board website. Right on their landing page, you see right under that right in that area, there's this gold box and it says check participating schools and scholarships. So if you click on that, it will show you which schools require it. And also notice if your parents only speak Spanish, they can see this whole thing in Spanish. Next screen. So if you click on that box before, it will pull up 2024-25 participating institutions and programs. And it will do this alphabetically. So notice ASU is on here, but it's only required by students who are dreamers. It is not required by students who are US residents. Okay, next screen. Here's also the link, but it's easier for you just to pull up CSS Profile participating institutions, and it will come up. Look for these codes before you do the CSS Profile. Those codes are their CSS codes, and they'll ask you to put that down. Next screen. Some of you might be wondering, how much money does this cost? You know, the first word of the FAFSA, you know, when we say the FAFSA, that's an acronym for free application. There is a cost to the CSS profile, but the cost is free if your family's adjusted gross income is $100,000 or less. Otherwise, the cost is $25 for the first college, $16 for every additional college. It will automatically figure that out for you. Next screen. So what does a CSS program fee waiver cover? It'll cover all of your application and your reporting fees. When are you notified that you received a fee waiver? You'll find out you're eligible for the CSS profile fee waiver when you complete the application. Note, if you applied for an SAT test fee waiver, you also get the CSS program fees waived as well. Next screen. And when should you complete it? No later than the first deadline of your colleges. So if you're applying through early action or early decision, then whatever that deadline is, you should be filling it out the night before at latest. Almost every college will have a different deadline and different dates for early decision, early action, regular decision. I would tell you, do it at least 5 days ahead of time. That way, if there's any technological glitches, you won't be affected by it. Next screen. To create your CSS profile, you want to go to your College Board email and use your password, and then go to cssprofile.org, and you're going to create your CSS profile page and begin your profile. It's not hard to do, but it does take a little bit of time. Next screen. So you sign in to the CSS profile on cssprofile.org. Make sure you choose the right year. And by that, I mean here, you have to select the correct one. And then if you don't have a collegeboard.org login, you have to create a College Board account before you select create account on CSS profile. Next screen. Next screen. This is what it looks like. So notice on my CSS profile, the word profile.collegeboard.org is there. And then you're going to sign in or you're going to create your account, you'll create it here, X screen. And then just lastly, a quick reminder, you know, this says October 12th. This is actually the 21st. So October 21st, which is this Saturday, we're doing In-State Honors Day at College Depot. We're starting off right at 2:30 with our friends from Barrett. They'll go first. And then on Monday, which is an I Day, we'll do Show Me the Money, and we'll actually do FSA ID, CSS Profile. We'll talk about some scholarships, and we'll have you try out AskBenji. Okay? And that goes from 11 to 2, and I believe lunch is involved. Thank you for listening to us today, and hopefully we'll see you Thursday, where you'll decide either GCU or Columbia University in person at Bio, and hopefully we'll see you Saturday and the following Monday. Thanks for joining us today. Bye-bye.